guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Fidel. I'm 21 now, but 3 years ago I packed up all my things and moved to London to study biological sciences at Imperial College London. I wanted to talk about my experience at Imperial and what the 3 years was like for me. So a little bit of a disclaimer. This video is gonna be like a recap for me. It's gonna include factual information about Imperial, how the courses are run, how the exams were, what modules I did and everything. And it's also going to include how I was feeling, what I was going through, the mental breakdowns that I was having. So it's going to be like a recap. I wanted to format it as like the before, so I'm going to include what A-levels I did to get in, what other universities that I applied to, and what courses I applied to. Then I'm going to be talking about the first year, the second year, the third year, and what modules I did and how I was feeling through all of them. And finally, I'm going to be talking about what am I going to do next and how Imperial has affected that. So, the before. I did high school in the northern side of Cyprus, so the Turkish side. My education was primarily on A-levels. I did 3 A-levels. I did biology, chemistry, and pure maths. And I got A stars in biology, maths, and I think an A in chemistry. Fun fact, I didn't know that I could apply to the universities in the UK and pay home fees. I currently pay home fees because I have the British passport through my dad, but at the time I didn't know that I could study there and pay home fees because we thought that I had to live there for 3 years prior university, but my council back in 12th grade, so the final year of my high school, was like, no, you can't study there and pay home fees. So I was beyond accelerated. So I applied to 3 universities in the UK. I did Imperial, Biological Sciences, UCL, Biomedical Sciences, and Edinburgh, either biology or biomedical sciences. Doesn't matter because they rejected me. UCL, I was pretty confident that I could get in, but Imperial was like, I was reaching for it. And the results, they arrived in August, and I was beyond accelerated to know that I got into Imperial and UCL, so I had to make a choice now. And I chose Imperial mainly for the prestige, and I thought that I could get a better education at Imperial. So I was already making friends through freshers group chats and everything. I was so excited to begin my Imperial journey. I applied to my accommodation. I got into Woodward accommodation in North Acton. I didn't know at the time that North Acton was going to be my place of residence for the next 2 years. I was so excited. I was about to move into my accommodation. The day before I was supposed to move in, a healthcare emergency hit my family. It was a bit of a tragedy. However, we're fine now. Everything is completely fine now. It was hard times, but we managed to pull through. So first year you do 4 core modules. First term is BCM and ED. BCM is biological chemistry and microbiology, and ED is evolution and diversity. BCM is all about enzymes and micromolecules and their structures. You have to memorize them. And ED is all about the tree of life and animals, plants, fungi, and evolution. I strongly believe that there's a thing called the first term curse, because for 3 consecutive years, the first term has always been the hardest for me. The second and the third terms has been significantly easier. So in first term, you do Jan exams for BCM and ED. The exams are typically, half of it is MCQs with negative marking included, and you do 2 essays. And the second term, you do cell biology and genetics, and EE, which is evolution and ecology, which is kind of an extension of ED, but with a field trip course included. So you get together with a randomly assigned group of your cohort, and you have to conduct an ecological scientific experiment. I don't wish the first term of first year of uni at Imperial upon my worst enemy. It was really hard for me, guys. I know people have barely survived it, myself included, but we pull through. So I finished first year with an overall of 2-1. If you're not familiar with UK university grading systems, you have 100% to 70% a first, which is an exceptional grade. Like getting above an 80 is really rare and really exceptional. So congrats if you're finishing with a first and over an 80 mark. Then you have a 69 to 60, a 2-1, which is a really great mark, and then 59 to 50 a 2-2, and 49-40 a third, and below 40 a fail. So I finished with a 2-1. I was really proud of myself because of all the things that happened at the beginning of my year. It was really hard for me to adjust to university learning and a new country and new friends and a new environment. So I was really proud of myself. But now moving on to second year. So in second year, you do 5 core modules and 3 optional modules, which is kind of a lot. So first term, you do A and B, which is applied molecular biology. You do genetics and bioinformatics, statistics, and programming through R and Python. And I was feeling nothing towards them. And you do a tutored dissertation in the final term, which is like a dissertation but much less words, and you get feedback on it for your actual dissertation for the next year, the final year. And there's a thing called I Explore, which can run from either the first term or the first term and the second term, or second term only. Fact check that, it might have changed. It's something that can be within science, outside of science. I had friends doing history, psychology, politics, accounting. I did something like multi-course project thing where we came together with people from different courses like medicine, design engineering, biology, myself, and we designed an affordable coaching app prototype. It was really fun to get to know different people from different courses, and the I Explore was something that you can take your mind off of this heavy science that you were doing at the time. So highly recommend you do a chill I Explore in your second year at Imperial. So I was having a little bit of a mental breakdown by the time because I wasn't feeling anything that I was really doing with my course. I wasn't feeling ecology, I wasn't feeling bioinformatics, I wasn't feeling genetics, and I thought at the time that was all biology had to offer for me. But second term came around and I was saved. So in second and third term, you do optional modules that you choose yourself. So this gave me a freedom to do whatever I wanted to do. So I'm going to list the optional modules here, but go check them out because they can change from cohort to cohort. So for group A, I did molecular microbiology, which I really enjoyed. I particularly enjoyed how it was structured because for the first half of it, we did all viruses, and the second half of it, we did bacteria, and I particularly enjoyed the viral aspect of it. And for the second optional module, I did immunology, and that's when things finally clicked for me. I fell in love with immunology. We had a love-hate relationship. I hated it at times because it was so compact. I had to memorize all these little molecules, these names, that doesn't really make any sense. But I really fell in love with how our body works against an intruder to keep us healthy. I did my tutored dissertation on NK cells, which is an immune cell which can go and kill either transforming cells, so cancerous cells, or viral infected cells. And I did it on how NK cells detach from these cells, and because the detachment for them really affects how they can go and serially kill other transforming or virally infected cells. So a fast detachment would be ideal. So I did a lot of literature review on that topic. For the final optional module, I did molecular microbiology lab skills, and it was so fun. I've had great lab mates, I made friends with them, they were amazing, shout out to them, it was amazing. And I finished second year with an overall of 2-1. I didn't know at the time that the beginning of third year was gonna be so hard, but moving on. So third year, oopsie, what happened? Girl. So third year came around and I wasn't feeling it. I was feeling so depressed and so anxious towards the future because I knew I liked immunology and I wanted to do something regarding immunology, but I wasn't sure what. I wasn't sure if I wanted to be in a lab, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do research, academia, industry, anything. I was going off the rails because people around me were also applying for masters or doctorates or jobs, and I was properly stressed because I didn't really know where to put myself yet. So I thought the next logical thing to do, 2 advanced immunology modules back to back. So that was a mistake. Don't do that. I did advanced topics in infection and immunity, and I did advanced immunology. And my logic and my reasoning was that I'm going to be examined upon them, both of them at the same time. So they would just cover each other up and I wouldn't have to study for that much content. But I was wrong because they both were so condensed, so little overlap between one another. I was off the rails. I was calling my parents on the phone. I was like, you did this to me. Why did I come to Imperial? Like, it was so messy. I was a mess. And in third year, you don't have MCQs anymore. You just write 3 essays. So I was properly stressing out about that as well. I just had to wait a couple of months to get to my favorite module of all time for everything to click, but I wasn't there quite yet. Gen exams finally ended. I was like, whatever. If I don't have anything to do with this degree, it's fine. If I don't do anything, you know, everything will sort itself out. I changed career paths like maybe 3 times. I wanted to do patent law. I wanted to get into consulting. I wanted to do something else. I wanted to do academia. It was so messy. But I finally did my favorite module of all time, which was vaccinology. I not only fell in love with the immunology part of it, so the biology, molecular part of it, but also the public health part of it. I fell in love with accessibility and thinking about populations and people and epidemiology. I fell in love with it all. That's when it finally clicked that I needed to do something within that field. So I started to apply for postgraduate courses, so master's degrees in public health and vaccinology and immunology of infectious diseases and everything. I did my final year project, so my dissertation with immunology. I did it on Drosophila immunology. I was quite disappointed with that one, but I knew that the lab group that I was going into, I knew the PI of it, and he was a really great lecturer and he was so fun and I had a great time in his lab. But I was quite disappointed to get something Drosophila related because that was not really what I was going for. But still, it was so fun. I had a blast. I had a great time with my dissertation. I wish I could go back to that times. It was so fun. Then I applied for 3 postgraduate masters. 1 in Imperial, immunology. 2 in UCL. It was again immunology based. And 3 at LSHTM, infectious disease immunology. And I accepted the last one. How they tackle public health issues was really how I fell in love with LSHTM, and I knew that I wanted to go there for my postgraduate. I'm beyond excited to start my term there. I'm gonna vlog everything. I'm gonna talk about my experience. It's gonna be so fun to document this experience and share it with you guys. I'm graduating with a 2-1 from Imperial Biological Sciences. I'm a biologist now. I'm so beyond grateful for my parents that gave me this opportunity to study in the UK. I'm so beyond grateful for all the friendships that I made in the UK, and I'm so grateful for myself for never giving up. If you have any questions regarding Imperial, you can ask me in the comments down below. I'll be happy to answer them. I'll be happy to be your guide. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, do whatever you gotta do with YouTube. Tell me if you like me. I don't know, do what you gotta do. Thank you so much for sticking around and see you on the next one. Bye.